offense scores 77 points?
You got to be careful sometimes looking at the scoreboard. There's a lot of stuff that we can clean up in regards to doing things better, starting faster, and all the little details. There's so many little details that go into it, I think you got to be careful looking at the scoreboard. And I've said it before, after a win, there's a lot of times where that gets camouflaged, to all the things you can continue to get better at, especially in week 2 with a lot of guys that are playing that are in roles that are new and fresh and youthful. I think starter fast, all little details, a lot of different things. And a lot of guys played, so there's a ton of notes for guys, there's a lot more notes than just your standard 13 or 15 guys that played, there's a ton of guys played.
What did you see for that? He was pretty disappointed with how the offensive line blocked in the run. Is that kind of one of the things that you look at?
Yeah, every position had their little notes. We always do the good, bad, and the ugly at every position, and we always try and find something that helps us get better and be critical of ourselves. I think up front, those guys always want to be perfect. No different. Those guys have had a lot of reps, and that was a good defense, and they want to get better and they want to do things perfectly. So they had a good day today of coming back and responding.
What did you see from that second O-line group in particular, Marcus? You just mentioned just the sheer volume of guys. A guy like Salah hadn't played at this level before. What did you see from that group and him in particular?
Yeah, it was good for those guys to get out there and hear some calls and see some live music, and see some live guys and live ball. Saul did a good job. Some of those guys, like you said, have never played. The ability for him to kind of go in there and throw his body around and play full speed, I think that's the biggest thing, adjusting to the speed of the game. But between the 1s, 2s, and 3s that all got, the 2s and 3s down line guys, I think they all did a good job of going in and kind of putting on film some things that they can finally see that they can shape up in regards to, hands and feet and contact and communication and all those little details.
You mentioned this time last week about turning the receivers loose a little bit more, not trying to protect them as much as you guys did in week 1. Do you feel like they've maybe earned that trust a little bit after what they did this week?
Yeah, I think we took that approach in regards to finding out where those guys are at, and I decided to cut it loose and let those guys roll out there, and they did a really nice job. There's a lot of guys on that sheet that hadn't had a bunch of time, and they've done a good job in practice, and we need to put them out there in that stage and continue to do so. I don't think we've arrived at any position at all, and those guys will continue to be guys that we need to inject in explosive plays and finding more and more football, and they did a really nice job.
David specifically mentioned that his time as a DB kind of helped him analyze that position a little bit better as a receiver. Did he look like a different type of receiver coming in after essentially a year with the DBs this time around?
Yeah, I think we mentioned that before. He's done a really nice job maturing after the first year. Coming back to offense has really helped us. He's no different than many. It's just the older you get in some of the systems and around football and around any of our jobs, you get a little more mature and you start focusing on some things that really matter, and things slow down, and he's a good example. David's done an awesome job.
Were you pretty pleased with Tyler Shuck's decision making?
Yeah, I think Tyler did a great job coming in. I think he's grown from kind of what we all seen from last year, and then into spring ball, and then into the game. He did some good things, man. He did some good things. He took some risks that maybe we've talked about a little bit, but in regards to that, I think they're all things that are fixable. I think he looked like he had command, which was really what you want in a backup that's going in and not timid, and knew where he wanted to do, and that was good to see. That felt good to see guys that are in control in that regard. They were going to make some mistakes, but they made them fast, and we go from there.
Darian Felix, 2 good weeks to start the season. What does he add to the running back group?
Darren's done an awesome job. I think he's a guy for 2 years that we've said is an explosive guy. I think he finally saw it, a guy who can really rip down the field and do some really good stuff. He's got good hands, comes out of the backfield, does a really nice job for us all the way since spring, and I think he'll continue to take steps forward, and Coach Mastro does an awesome job with those guys in that room, and just adds to that stable,
It seems like Johnny Johnson's confidence is back, and along those lines, how important was it also for Brian Addison to bounce back in week 2? And do you think Justin's kind of getting comfortable with these guys that maybe you didn't think would play quite as prominent a role before all the injuries?
Yeah, Johnny's doing a really nice job. He's really pushed himself in the position he's in, and then Brian is a guy who really we haven't seen yet, and done a good job of coming in and trying to get timing with Justin in the offense and knowing what to do. And I think Justin's getting comfortable with each day. Those guys get a chance to be a little more comfortable with each other, having only had the short time they've had together, and And guys like Johnny and Red, who again, who've been with Justin for a little bit, they've got a chance to really gel and kind of get in sync.
I understand CJ's workload is being managed a little bit, especially last week when the score got the way it was, but want to try and get him going a little bit before Pac-12 play starts, Marcus, because only like 146 yards for him, which I realize he can do in one game, but
Right.
still, it's relatively low workload so far. For him.
Yeah, we've got a pretty good stable back, so I think those guys rotate pretty well. Obviously, CJ can do a lot of things. We're making sure we're managing his reps, like you said, to make sure that we're pushing him to the point where we can kind of continue to grow that stride into kind of things, And he's done a really nice job. I think we'll get him a little more load and then feel it out as we get going forward. But those guys as a group do a really good job. CJ's going to be. I don't think have any issues with understanding what CJ's going to be able to do.
What is it specifically about Tyler that makes you excited for him for the future of Oregon?
He's got the traits you're looking for at quarterback in regards to command, personality, understanding, work ethic, all before mechanical traits, I think are the things that make for a successful quarterback. And Tyler had those when we talked about him as a recruit, and we talk about him now as a guy who's coming in. And I think his command you can see, his maturity you can see, and you can see the physical tools that are going to enable him to be successful and move forward.
Couple more.
Auburn obviously had a NFL-loaded defense. Nevada had a unique defense, did a lot of stunting and stuff. What does Montana do that's going to be a challenge for you guys?
Another defense that plays really, really well. I mean, another 3-3-5 defense that is a little bit odd. They play kind of a different style in regards to even Nevada's 3-3-5, and you just got to do the different things that they do are going to be a good test, and they're good to kind of get under our belt and kind of learn about. A lot of communication's got to happen in what they do, and they do it well. Coach Bear, I know from my past, and he does a really good job getting those guys prepared, and they've played really well here for opening week. So we're going to have to play a good ball.